Let me say goodbye to my family and divide my estate. I swear I will return.
You swear you will return?
Yes, I swear I will return.
How long do you need?
Your Majesty, once upon a time there was a very rich merchant. He had a great deal of land, goods, and money. He had many hired servants. Occasionally, he had to make long journeys to discuss business with his trading partners. One day, an important matter forced him to leave home. He mounted his horse carrying a small chest behind his saddle, containing some dried bread and dates for his food on the road. Because he had to cross a desert, there was nothing to buy or sell. He arrived at his destination without encountering any obstacles along the way. Having finished his business, he mounted his horse and returned. On the fourth day of his journey, he felt very tired because the sun was blazing. The ground was hot. Seeing a grove of trees not far from the road, he turned back and stopped there, intending to rest under the shade of a tree for a while. Under the root of a walnut tree, there was a well with clear water. He dismounted, tied his horse to a branch, and sat down under a walnut tree. He opened the chest, took out dry bread and dates, and ate them, throwing the date seeds aside. After finishing his simple meal, he washed his face, hands, and feet, and recited prayers. After finishing his prayers while still kneeling, he suddenly saw before his eyes a spirit of extraordinary height, with white hair and beard, holding a sword in his hand. The spirit approached and shouted fiercely, "Stand up so that I may use this sword to kill you, as you killed my son." After saying this, the spirit roared. Terrified by the spirit's hideous face and scream, the merchant trembled and replied, "Alas, what crime have I committed against you that I deserve death, my lord?" "I want to kill you as you killed my son," said the spirit. "Oh God, how could I kill your son? I don't know you. I've never even seen you before." "Did you just come and sit here?" God asked. "Did you open the chest, take out the dry bread and dates, eat them, and throw the seeds aside?" "It's just as you said. I dare not deny it." "Chunmi, by doing so, you have killed my son," said the god. "The matter is this. While you were throwing the seeds, my son passed by, and a seed got into his eye and killed him. Therefore, I must kill you." "Oh, my lord, please forgive me," cried the merchant. "There is no forgiveness, no mercy. Murderers pretend to be dead, isn't it right?" "I agree," argued the merchant, "but I did not kill your son. And even if it had happened, it would have been by accident. Therefore, I beg you to forgive me and let me live." "No, no," the god persisted. "I must kill you because you have killed my son." At this, the god seized the merchant's arm, threw him face down on the ground, and raised his sword, ready to cut off his head. The merchant was in tears because he missed his wife and children, and he begged his innocence, and he begged very pitifully. Although he had raised his sword, the god still patiently listened to the merchant's words, but he was not moved at all. "It is useless," the god shouted. "Even if you cry until your eyes bleed, I will still kill you, because you killed my son." "What, is there nothing else that can move your heart? You still insist on killing an innocent man?" the merchant asked. "Yes, I have decided," the god replied. Having said that, Scheherazade had told this, then looked outside and saw that the sky had brightened. Knowing that the emperor needed to get up early to read the scriptures and go to court, she stopped telling anything else. Just then, Dinaside spoke. "By God, what a wonderful story you have told, my sister. The next part is even more interesting," Scheherazade replied to her. "And I would certainly agree with you if the emperor would be so kind as to let you live today, and allow you to tell me the last part tomorrow morning." King Shahryar had been listening attentively to Scheherazade's story with interest and thought to himself, "Well, I'll wait until tomorrow to hear the rest of the story, and then it's not too late to have the girl killed." So the king decided not to have Scheherazade hanged that very day. He got up, read the prayers, and then went about his court business. During that time, the prime minister was extremely worried and anxious. All night long, he did not sleep, but kept sighing, pitying the fate of his daughter, for whom he himself would have to be the executioner. With a sad heart, when he entered the court, he did not dare to look straight at the king's face. He was very surprised and happy when he saw the king walk straight into the court without giving the order he seemed to be waiting for. As usual, the emperor spent the whole day taking care of the affairs of the court. At night, the king slept with Scheherazade. The next morning before the sun rose, Dinazad did not forget to say to his sister, "Dear sister, I beg you, if you do not sleep, while waiting for the sun to rise, tell me the last part of yesterday's story." Without waiting for Scheherazade to ask permission, the emperor said, "Tell the rest of the story about the gods and the merchant. I am also curious to know how it will end." At the command, Scheherazade immediately spoke and continued as follows. "Your Majesty, the merchant saw the evil spirit about to cut off his head and cried out, 'Please stop. Let me say one more word. Please give me permission to bid farewell to my wife and children and divide the estate, because I have not yet had time to make a will, so that after my death there will be no quarreling and litigation. Once that is done, I will return to this place to confess my sins to you. But I fear that if I give you an extension, you will not return here anymore," said the god. "If you believe my oath, I swear to heaven and earth that I will return here without fail." "How long do you need?" the spirit asked. "Please give me a year. That will give me enough time to arrange all my affairs, and also so that when I die I will not regret not having enjoyed all the pleasures of this world. So I promise that next year, on this day, I will come back under this tree and surrender myself to you to do whatever you want." "Do you dare ask God to witness your oath?" the spirit asked. "Yes, I swear once more, and please believe my oath." At this point, the spirit disappeared, leaving the merchant alone by the well. Recovering his senses, the merchant mounted his horse and returned, half happy to have escaped the disaster, half heartbroken at the thought of his oath. When he returned home, his whole family was overjoyed to welcome him, but he did not hug his wife and children as usual, but burst into tears. The whole family understood immediately that he was very worried and sad about something. The wife asked her husband why he was so sad and crying. "The whole family is very happy that father has returned, but also very worried when they see this. Please tell me, why are you sad?" "Oh, how can I not be sad? I only have 1 year left to live." Then he told the whole family what had just happened. He told them clearly that he had sworn to return to the gods in exactly 1 year to pay for his death. When the family heard the news, they were very sad. The wife banged her head and pulled her hair, crying loudly. The children also cried loudly, which moved the merchant and also cried along with him. In short, there was no sadder scene than that. From the next day on, the merchant took care of his business. He first paid his debts. Then he distributed his wealth to his friends, gave alms to the poor, freed his slaves, both male and female, and divided his property among his children. He appointed guardians for the younger ones. He returned his wife's dowry in full and gave her many other properties. Everything was done according to the law. A year passed, and it was time to leave. The merchant packed his things, brought along the shroud he would be buried in, and bade farewell to his wife and children. There was no more moving scene. No one in the family could bear to let him die alone. Everyone wanted to follow him and die with him. However, he struggled to bear it and said to his family, "My dear children, I must say goodbye to you for God's sake. Follow my example. Follow your destiny. Remember that every human being is born to die." After saying this, despite the whole family's tears, he took off his clothes and left. He arrived at the exact place where he had met the god a year before on the appointed day. He got off his horse, went to the well and waited for the god, his heart filled with indescribable sadness. While he was waiting sadly, an old man suddenly came near with a rope tying a female deer. The two greeted each other. The old man asked, "Brother, why did you come to this desolate place where only ghosts roam and where people are not safe?" Looking at the beautiful trees, people thought there were people living there, but in fact it was very desolate. "It is dangerous to stay here for too long, brother." The merchant satisfied the old man's curiosity, telling him the whole story of why he had to come here. The old man was very surprised. After listening, he said, "What a strange story. You have been bound by an oath to the gods. I want to witness the reunion between you and that god." After saying this, he sat down beside the merchant, and the two of them talked. But the day has already dawned. Scheherazade suddenly stopped his story and said, "And the next part is the best part of this story." The emperor wanted to hear the whole story, so he let Scheherazade live another day. The next night, Dinasset addressed her sister as he had done the 2 nights before. "Dear sister, I beg you, if you are not asleep, tell me one of the good stories you know." But the emperor said he wanted to hear the story of the merchant and the spirit. So Scheherazade continued her story as follows. "Your Majesty, while the merchant and the old man with the doe were talking, suddenly another old man came along, followed by 2 black dogs. He approached, greeted them, and asked what they were doing there. The old man with the doe told the story of the merchant and the spirit and his oath. He added today was the appointed day, and he wanted to stay here and see what would happen. The other old man, seeing that the story was worth knowing, decided to stay and see too. He sat down beside them. They had just resumed their conversation when a third old man appeared. He addressed the other 2 and asked why the merchant sitting with them looked so sad. Knowing the whole story, the new old man also found the story strange, and also wanted to see what would happen between the god and the merchant. So he sat down next to the others. Soon they saw a mist rising in the middle of the wilderness, as if a whirlwind of sand was being blown up by the wind. The mist approached them, dissipated, and the god appeared. Without greeting anyone, the god came up to the merchant with his sword, grabbed his arm and said, "Stand up. I must kill you as you killed my son." Frightened, the merchant and the old woman both cried out. When the old man leading the doe saw the evil spirit seize the merchant and was about to kill him without mercy, he fell at the feet of the monster, kissed its feet and said, "O chief of the gods, I beg you to calm your anger. Please listen to me. I will tell you the story of me and the doe you saw. If you think that story is more wonderful and surprising than the story of the merchant you are about to kill, may I hope that you will reduce his sin by a third?" The evil spirit thought for a moment and finally replied, "All right, I accept.